Scandal erupts with LWA as residents now report it's not being paid in some places retroactively. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Afternoons LA. Hope you're good and safe. This is our 2-hour programming block that starts every day at 3:30 with a check, then goes to hazard pay, then FPUC. This video, FPUC, UI, LWA, all things unemployment, and usually rent, but I'm moving rent to this evening's broadcast because my voice is dissipating. But let's get right to the great news and really troubling news about LWA, the extension of FPUC. As you know, FPUC was that $600 per week that's paid to you from the federal government from March to July for weeks that you're impacted by COVID-19 under the CARES Act, the first stimulus package. It goes on top of UI benefits, unemployment benefits, and pandemic unemployment assistance, PUA. PUA is for independent contractors, solo practitioners like Uber and Lyft drivers, or people that own their own business. And then UI is for people who are employees, W-2s, like a Macy's employee. $600 from the federal government is still being paid for weeks that you certify from March to July in every state. So if you're still applying or you're in the application process, you're still going through the whole thing, then you're still going to get the $600 a week. That's what's really, really good news. What's also really great news is that you've understood how to list your date of impact. Your date of impact is the date at which you were impacted by COVID-19. Don't mess that up. That date is the first date. If you list it as today's date and it really was March, you could lose thousands of dollars. Every week that you mess up is, the difference of $600 plus your state's local benefits, which is about $167 to $200, about $800 a week. So don't mess up that date. Now, that's what's really good and consistent news, that you're still going to get those payments all the way up to late July. What happens after CARES expired, and now we're on to LWA? Well, this is the good news and the really bad news. First, the bad news. A new report out today reveals that some states who applied for LWA, lost wage assessments created by the executive order of the president 2 weeks ago, which is underwritten by FEMA money, $300 a week. When they applied for a lost wage assistance, we all thought that they're going to be paying LWA starting at the first week in which FPUC expired, which is late July. So we thought, okay, week 1 of LWA will be the week following the expiration of FPUC. Pretty simple. And week 2 would be the next week, and then week 3 would be, sort of mid-August, early August. Oh no, here comes the bad news. Some states are not doing it. Some states are doing LWA $300 a week for the week in which they get the money from the federal government going forward. Horror, how dare they? I mean, really, how dare they? So when would they be getting the money from the federal government? Well, the great news I detailed on Mornings LA is that some of the states, or actually most of the states, should reportedly get the money in the next 7 days. That would still mean that you're going to miss 1 to 2 weeks, potentially, if they do this to you, of $300 a week from that end of July. And let me explain what's going on. So you got the $600 a week to that last day of FPUC, which is late July approximately. Okay, then you have that next week. Are you getting money for that week? Now, what I'm talking about is enhanced money. I'm not talking about your base level benefits. Enhanced money, the $600, $300. Are you getting money for that week? Well, we all thought that when they get approved, the states, for the $300 a week, then that week, that first $300 week would be the next week. And then the second $300 week would be the next week. And the third $300 week would be the third week. That would be, the last week of July, the first week of August, the second week of August. Apparently no in some states. In some states, their new report released minutes ago, which I've obtained, says that some states are not saying, no, we're going to start paying $300 a week from the week in which we get the money from the federal government. Really? Outrageous. Crazy. So if they get the money from the federal government in, like, September 1, then week 1 will start September 1 with $300. And week 2 is $300 will be the second week of September. And week 3 of $300 will be the third week of September. Yes, in some states. So you're sitting back and saying, oh, great news. Here's the great news. Let's recap the great news for today. How many states were approved? I think it's like 30 states. 30 states approved. Okay, so 30 states approved. Great. Great news. 30 states approved. I'll go over the 30 states in a second. Second great news. They're all going to pay benefits of $300 a week. Great news. Incredibly great news. FEMA says they now have enough money for 3 weeks in all 30 states. Also great news. Fourth item of great news. FEMA says they may have 4 weeks to pay for $300 per week. 4 weeks, not 3 weeks. In some of the early states like Arizona. Wow, this is really also great news. Final issue of great news is that FEMA will have the money allegedly in most or all of the 30 states' hands by the end of the next 7 days. Okay, this is really great news. But what weeks are you getting the $300 for? Now comes the bad news. Some states are going to say, hey, if it's been 3 weeks since the expiration of FPUC, we'll give you 3 weeks of benefits right now. Let me explain to you. If by the time that the state receives the $300 a week from FEMA, 3 weeks have passed since the expiration of FPUC, then they would give you 3 times $300 to bring you up to date retroactively to that first week of when LWA kicked in after the expiration of FPUC. That's what we all thought they were going to do. But apparently some states don't want to do that. Some states want to say, okay, yeah, we know FPUC expired in July, but we didn't have $300 a week in the last week of July. We didn't have it last week, and we got it this week. So we're going to give it to you this week, and we'll give it to you next week, and the week after that. And so some people, as this wonderful, nice person interviewed in this article, Emma Locarnini, 42, thought that she was going to see a lump sum of 3 weeks land in her bank account, but just found $300, one payment. It doesn't say what state. Oh, she's from Tucson. Said that she's been out of work since March, and she said, well, they're behind on 3 weeks of benefits since the expiration of FPUC. She thought she was going to see a lump sum of $900 land in her bank account. No. She got one payment of $300. It's frustrating. So much of losing my job is totally out of my control, and I'm not like, I don't like not knowing where I'll be able to go back to work. I'm certainly looking for work elsewhere, but I'm competing with so many people. I want to work. I want to go back into the office. I don't want to keep on relying on unemployment benefits. She previously was even at maximum benefits, which I detail on this channel, escalated benefits, so she knows what she's doing. She raised her base level benefits to escalated benefits based upon 2019 earnings. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I said this, since the very first day this channel started. You can contact your state and say, my 2019 earnings were, here's my 2019 tax return, here it is. If it's over $30,000, you qualify generally for maximum benefits of your state. How do you send it? Usually through the portal. If there's no place, you have to send it in the mail. And so she had maximum benefits $240. Wow. And she had $600 federal boost. Okay, so she was at $640 a week. And then suddenly the $600 was gone. So all she had was $240. Arizona got approved first for LWA. Really great news for Arizona. But then she's like, okay, a few weeks have passed. Okay, what am I getting? What am I getting? $300. Wait a second. 3 weeks have passed. Why haven't I gotten $900? Arizona says, no, we're just going to give you a week starting now and going forward. Not fair. What's not fair is that's really not what LWA called for. It was to provide enhanced unemployment benefits for the weeks that you had lost after the extension of FPUC, after FPUC expired. So now let's say, even worst case scenario is that you go back to work in mid-August, you may not get those 3 weeks of LWA for late July and early August. It's unclear which states are doing this. And that's what also is very unclear. It's a $44 billion program set aside by FEMA, but it's a broken system, says a Gilbert resident as well, Colin Smith. He said he spent hundreds of hours trying to get his payment. I've had to change everything. It's been so long. I never thought in 34 years of my life I would be relying on my mom to pay my cell phone bill. I went through the economic crisis of my lifetime. My story is not unique, so many people need the same story. We struggle to do better. We have to fix these times of broken systems like unemployment. What is going on? So the good news, or the great news, is that new reports, which I detail on Mornings LLA, thank you for tuning in, is our best watched show ever, that broadcast this morning, that there are 30 states now approved for LWA. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, New Hampshire, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, and Washington State. Really, really, really great news. What's insanely great news is that FEMA has now reversed the original economic guidance or financial guidance and said, hey, we got money available for 3 weeks for all these states. They originally said it was only going to be 3 weeks for the first few states, and then everyone else after that is, feast or famine. Maybe we just don't have enough. Now they say we have enough. We have enough. And they say that the first few states may get 4 weeks of benefits. Congratulations, the woman from Arizona. So she may ultimately get 4 weeks of benefits. Next, and this is also the really great news, is Gary Burtless, an economist and senior fellow at the Brookings Institution, says, I presume others will start making payments this week. In some cases, it will take longer to implement, but he thinks that most states will start sending out money starting in the next 7 days. Incredibly great news. Now let's get back to crazy Nancy Pelosi, wacko news, and insane Mark Meadows news. Where did the day start and where's it gone on unemployment for purposes of these two people? Well, Mark Meadows has reversed course yet again. Early over the weekend, this channel debuted a standalone bill for FPUC. Why? Because Mark Meadows said he would agree to one. And I said, well, why don't you write one? And he didn't. So I wrote the bill. Hashtag LLA, hashtag write the bill. I wrote the bill. Standalone FPUC extension. But then came Mark Meadows yesterday. And guess what he did? He flip-flopped. He said, no, I don't think I want a standalone bill for unenhanced employment. I want to have, a bill that has a lot of other stuff in it that no one really cares about. Liability insurance, PPP money. Wait a second, Mark. That wasn't the urgent stuff. That was the other stuff. It goes after we do this stuff. What happened to the standalone bill for enhanced unemployment benefits? Changed my mind. Which is really troubling. It's really troubling. Mixed message Meadows is what he should be called. He says one thing one day, and the next thing day he says another. Now, here's the other thing that I have an issue with Mark Meadows out currently, is that he doesn't want to say numbers. I don't know if this is a Republican thing or a Mark Meadows thing, but he doesn't want to say numbers. So every time he's been interviewed about these issues over the last, 7-10 days, he says, we need to extend unemployment benefits right now. It's an urgent matter. Mitch McConnell does this as well. They're both guilty of the same crime. And they say, do it right now, do it right now, do it right now. What number? What number? $24? $1? $4? These people don't want to give us a number, which is really like, do we not see you're doing that? Mark Meadows doesn't want to say a number. Mitch McConnell doesn't want to say a number. Are they afraid of numbers? Is this like, we're afraid of numbers? Yeah. I know Larry Kudlow's afraid of numbers, but is Mark Meadows afraid of numbers? And when we do see numbers, there's stuff that no one would agree to. Mitch McConnell yesterday, for very clear clarification for you, because there's so much false information out there, wrote up a draft of a skinny bill and debuted it by Dropbox, by email, literally like that. I'm not exaggerating. He just put it on Dropbox and said, here's something I would propose, but it's not a bill. Some people have reported it as a bill. It's not a bill because it's never been introduced to the Senate. It's literally something on his computer, just like what I wrote for you. I held it up. I wrote it. It's not a bill. I'm not a member of Congress. I haven't introduced it to the Senate floor. It's just a draft. And what's in it? In Mitch's draft is $300 a week. Mitch, we already don't you understand that no one wants $300 a week? Don't you understand that Democrats don't support $300 a week? Why are you wasting people's time? Mitch McConnell is the epitome of someone wasting people's time by saying things that sound really good, like Meadows. But then when you see his numbers that he sort of slides in there, there's a horrible number, Mitch. Mitch McConnell wanted to start the entire discussion at $200 a week. How do we know that? He wrote it. The HEALS Act, which he introduced in, last month, $200 a week. Okay, why'd you waste everyone's time with $200 a week, Mitch? Now you're at $300 a week. Then there was Steve Mnuchin, who introduced something, in the negotiations, but not in writing, that it was tied to this and 75% of this, and then you do a reverse calculation. You have Larry Kudlow, brush his hair, and then we come up with a number. Like, okay, why can't you just come up with a normal, sensible number and we get it done with? Now, Nancy on the other side has $600. It's a great number. It's a sensible number. Everything about Nancy's number is correct. You know why it's correct? Because both parties agreed to it in March when the pandemic was not how bad it is now. And it's a sensible number. Now, what's not sensible with Nancy's number is that she doesn't want to move off of it and she doesn't want a standalone bill. So when asked about the situation yesterday and over the weekend and, probably this afternoon again, she says strategically not in her best interest to negotiate on unemployment benefits. We'll just deal with it in January. What is January? August, September, October, November, December, January. 24 weeks. We're supposed to wait around for 24 weeks of unemployment benefits and not be paid 24 weeks of unemployment benefits? 24 weeks of unemployment benefits we have to sit around and not get because Nancy's not strategically in her best interest because she wants to give a bailout to Gavin and Andrew Cuomo and Gavin Newsom, governors in California and New York. 24 weeks? Now, that's bonkers crazy. Mitch McConnell's $200 a week of FPUC is just crazy. But hers, waiting around 24 weeks, is bonkers crazy. I mean, that's like, committed crazy. That's like, you need to sit down and have a chat with someone. That's crazy. So you see the level of weirdness going on with these people. I want to get enhanced unemployment benefits to Americans. And then there's the cowards. And yeah, I have no problem calling people cowards. I have no problem calling people that are older than me cowards. I have no problem calling adult people cowards. Republicans and Democrats, cowards. Blue Dogs, cowards. New Age Coalition, cowards. Why are they cowards? Because they said we need to do this as a standalone bill. They said we need to address this issue right now. They said we need to do something about enhanced unemployment benefits right now. Wrote a letter. Nancy took the letter and tossed it out the side. Said, okay, I'll deal with this in January. What did they do? Nothing. Coward. Republicans. President Trump says we need to get unemployment benefits out right away. Mitt Romney, only person who stands up to the president, said, okay, I'll do a standalone bill. What was Mitt's bill at? 500, I think, a week? And deal with Marco Rubio. Put it out. Like, okay, Mitt and Marco, have you done anything else? How about everyone else in the Republican Party? No, they're all just following the president's lead. They're afraid of being tweeted by the president something negative. Cowards. So as we sit here today, the great news is that LWA is paying people. The great news is you will get 3 weeks of LWA. The great news is that you could get 4 weeks of LWA. The incredibly great news is that Kentucky and Montana, Kentucky, is paying $100 a week on top of that. The super great news is that the benefits are coming to you faster than originally thought. We thought we were going to have to wait till October or something. I mean, the coin to come in the next 7 days, say reports now. The really unclear news is that some states are not doing retroactive. They're just doing it from the first week now, going forward for $300 a week. And then the what the hell wacko news is Nancy and Mark's negotiations about getting an extension of FPUC, which they had agreed to at $400, $600 a week. My call to action was $550. Let's get this done. It's very simple. It's a standalone bill. LLate, hashtag, write the bill. Go to the Friends channel and please like and subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell button. It may be a little bit more red now. And the subscribe button may be flaming red because you're just, you're getting revved up. Keep it calm. You're the power of the purple. Your power of the purple has really kicked in. You have been tweeting, emailing, calling your congressman, your broadcast news reporters saying, hey, watch this guy. Hey, put this guy on broadcast news. Hey, put this guy on the nightly news. No one is talking about stimulus. They talk about unemployment benefits once in a while, like you see with this article, but they're otherwise not talking about it. It has to be talked about. Coming up next is Evenings LLA, which will feature rent move to evenings tonight because of my voice is sort of going away. As always, stay informed, stay motivated, stay smiling, and stay of LA.